Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining today. I hope you're ready to have your mind expanded, opened, and potentially your life changed forever. If you are an independent music artist, music producer, and you are just starting out your career, or you've already started and you're looking to advance further beyond where you've been so far, grow and achieve new levels, live your dream life, your dream career as a music artist, you're in the right place. I'm going to share with you some very, very valuable information today about why I believe, why I know that 2025 is the best year ever to be an independent niche music artist, to start or grow a music career and make an amazing, abundant living, designing your career and life as a music artist. But first, let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Joseph. You might know me as my artist name, J.Pool. If you've never heard of me before, I have about 140 to 150,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. I've got over 50,000 followers across platforms on the internet. I've been traveling the world, touring, playing music in South America, North America, Europe, Africa, the Middle East, Asia for the last 4 years. And I honestly am so grateful for my life and for my music career. And I really, really love what I do. And I want to share with you how you can do what I do. Okay, so these sessions and my mentorship brand is called The Sound of You. The reason I call it that is because I want to help artists not only discover their sound in the music, but discover their own selves and how they can communicate and share that as potently, as effectively, as powerfully with the world to really create a very strong global brand and identity as an artist, because that's what you need to develop to have a successful music career in 2025. Okay, so the main idea that I want to share with you today, that I want to talk about, is that there is no one way to have a successful music career. There's literally infinite ways to do it. I personally do it one way, and I have many friends, like personal friends who are music artists that also live only from their music and have what I would consider a successful music career in completely different ways. And I've also studied many artists who I don't know yet, maybe, as friends that have their own ways to do it. So the most important thing that I believe in order to really build a sustainable, long-lasting, successful career as a music artist is this. You have to know what you like, what you enjoy doing, how you enjoy living. This is really the number one fundamental key. What am I good at and what do I like doing? And you can build your career around that, okay? That being said, growth happens when you push into the uncomfortable, when you get out of your comfort zone. For sure, you're going to need to learn new skills and push outside of your comfort zone if you want to grow. But the main pillars and driving force behind your career needs to be aligned with how you like to live your life. Okay, so let me explain a little bit more what I mean by that. Until about a year or a year and a half ago, to be honest, I didn't do any direct studying of branding, marketing, or even really music career strategy at all. I just did it all out of my intuition, very organically, and got to where I am today through that. That being said, since I started studying over the last year different real strategies and techniques, I have noticed a difference and a growth in my career. So I would like to touch on a few different strategies that I have seen either from people that I don't know or that I do know in the last year or so, and give you some options so you can see what I mean by building the career around what you like, what is your life vision, what is your life goal, and what do you want to get out of your music career? What is success for you? What does that feel like? What does that look like? And how can you design it? How can you achieve it? Okay, so first of all, I want to talk about somebody who I actually just discovered recently. This guy who I started watching his YouTube videos, to be honest, and he's kind of what inspired me to do this. A guy named Nick D. And Nick D has over 6 million monthly listeners on Spotify. It's a pretty incredible number. This guy really helped me break out of some limiting beliefs that I had about growing on Spotify. and the ability to live from streaming income. And the beautiful thing about Nick D is that he is very clear on his life goals, what he wants out of life, not his music career goals, his life goals, which is that he likes to stay at home, close to his family, close to his kid, do something that he enjoys doing, which is making music, in order to support himself, his lifestyle, and his family. So that means for him, spending a lot of time in the studio at home, making a lot of content from home, not touring a lot, and focusing as much as possible on putting out music and making money from streams. So Nick's strategy was to release a new song every 2 weeks for 3 years. He got to the end of 3 years and he was over 1 million monthly listeners, I believe, on Spotify, already making a few $1,000s a month, no record labels, completely independent. And he got to the end of 3 years and decided, okay, I'm going to keep going. And he kept going, releasing a song every 2 weeks, making content to support it, doing everything from home, paying for the mix and the master and the art and even the beats. He's laying down the vocal, making the arrangement, doing that. And now he's doing probably $50,000 to $100,000 a month, if not even more, from his streams and sales of his merchandise, and touring very little. And that is, according to his life design, what he likes to do. He built his career that way, okay, with his strengths, which was just being creative at home. That's what he likes doing, and that's why he's been successful, okay? So example number 2 is this guy, Jend. Maybe you've heard of Independ Jend, who has started a pretty successful company in the last year teaching people how to do meta ads for his Meta or Facebook ads to promote his music. And Jen has been able to cross 6 million, 4 million, something like that, monthly listeners on Spotify, doing pretty great on his streaming income, and also playing a little bit and touring as an artist. But his main income right now is from his streams and from his business around teaching people how to increase their streams through Meta. So I bought his PDF and I looked into it and I was like, okay, this is great. You know, he had a job in e-com doing ads before and took everything that he applied from that, everything that he learned from that job, applied it to his music and his music career, and started seeing incredible results, better than when he tried releasing with record labels. So again, he used his strengths, used what he knew, applied it to what he was doing, something he knew how to do and something he enjoys doing, and started seeing great success from doing that, and then building a company around teaching and mentorship because he also enjoys doing that. It's amazing, okay? So I have another friend that was actually my first mentorship student. I helped him in getting going with his music production. I helped him find his name, and like Jen, he also had a background in e-com. He has a successful brand of selling health products online in Germany. So after working with me and getting his music production down and kind of defining his brand more, getting his name, getting his logo, his first videos up on YouTube and everything, he downloaded also the PDF from Jen and applied his skills and knowledge from ecom to starting some ad campaigns around his music and his releases. And actually in 1 year, he has more Instagram followers and more monthly listeners on Spotify than me, and is maybe making the same, if not more, than me in streams, because he did all independent releases and decided not to go the record label approach like I did for many years in my first years of growth. So that's really impressive. But the thing is that he kind of advanced really quickly in the online community building, but his like personal connections are not there yet. So even though he maybe has more Instagram followers and more monthly listeners on Spotify than me, he doesn't have the like real like committed audience and fans and connections that I have. So he's still kind of in the beginnings of getting bookings, like playing gigs for free or for small amounts, and doing pitching to festivals instead of me charging most of the time like thousands of dollars plus flights and accommodation for my gigs, and being requested by festivals, by events all around the world through the connections that I've built over the last years. I think so. These are just like, again, just showing you that there's so many different ways to do this, and you just need to follow your heart and tune in to yourself and follow your intuition and get clarity on how you can design, like I said, design your life and your career based on your skills, based on what you're good at, based on what you know, and also based on what you don't know yet and what you think you can improve on. Now, these are just two examples, but now in 2025, a lot of people are just focused on this kind of like go viral thing, get a lot of streams. Now, let me tell you an example of the complete opposite. So I have many friends that I would consider also very successful musicians or music artists. You have to define your version of what is successful to you. For me, it's just playing music, doing what they love, and able to support their lifestyle comfortably while doing that, expressing themselves in a way that they enjoy doing, that they want to be doing, that feels good for them or for you. For me, that's success in a music career anyways. So I have many friends that have not that many Instagram followers, maybe 10, 20, 30K, much less streaming income and monthly listener streams than me or many other people. But they have a network and they have experience as artists, and they've been building their career over time, making connections organically in person, and they are known in a community, okay? So this is incredible because they're so known. They're consistently getting invitations because they make impactful live experiences every time they do something live. And because they make impactful live experiences, they continue getting invited, and they are able to increase the price of their gigs to $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a show, and play a few shows a month and be able to live very happily off that when they are not interested in running meta ads. They're not interested in having a super content flow system, and they're not even that interested in releasing that much music or collaborating with that many artists, and that still works for them, right? So there's like the complete opposite spectrum for you. Now, there's many other techniques. I can tell you another one would be, for example, a good friend of mine and collaborator is my friend Mose. And Mose's strategy has been not only releasing music very continuously, but collaborating with tons of artists. Now Mose is over 500, maybe over 600,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. He's got multiple tracks, over 10 million. He's touring the world, selling out 500 to 1,000 or more every time he plays a show. He's a huge inspiration for me. And he has been the king of collaboration because he has collaborated with so many artists in his niche. And his thing that I think is really beautiful is that he's not so concerned about if it's a big artist or a small artist, but just that what comes out of that person is very impactful for him, and they sing beautifully or they play beautifully or whatever it is, because he knows his strength, that he is a producer, and he doesn't try to move outside of that. He knows he can make good songs and produce good songs, and he likes to work with vocalists or musicians that are very talented to make the melodies and the hooky part of his songs. So that's beautiful because he knows his strengths, and by collaborating with so many people, his network has grown so wide, playing gigs, releasing music, collaborating with other artists, that he's grown to a huge amount. And I know he's doing thousands of dollars a show, many shows a month, probably $1,000 a month on revenue from his personal streams, also has a record label, also has an online course. So, music, being a music career in 2025, it's so amazing because there's so many possibilities for revenue. It's like an incredible business, and before I was really blocked by wanting to consider that, and that was kind of blocking me from moving forward in my career. That I didn't want to look at it that way. I didn't want to consider it that way. I had it that's like a bad thing, business, being a businessman. And so I've been doing a lot of work and reframing on feeling good about that, and knowing that really being an independent music artist is being an entrepreneur, and that's just the reality. And being an entrepreneur means building a business, and building a business means doing something that you love, that you're passionate about, that helps other people, which music obviously helps the lives of many people. And there's so many ways that you can do it, through education, through workshops, through experiences. There's just so many options of how you can possibly express yourself and give value to the world. And that is why there's so many options to possibly make money. It doesn't just have to be Spotify. It doesn't just have to be YouTube. It can be TikTok. It can be Instagram. It can be workshops in person. It can be retreats in person. It can be ceremonies. It can be live concerts. It can be one-on-one mentorship. It can be group mentorship. It can be retreats. There's so many options. It's so beautiful that what I'm trying to get to you again is coming back to this point of that you need to design your career for you. And that is how you will be able to have the most successful and beautiful and enjoyable life and career possible. So you need to understand first, what do I like to do? And then what are my strengths? And then what are my weaknesses and what can I work on? What is my life goal? What is my vision for me in my life? How do I see myself living? What is my vision for my career? How do I see my music career playing out? And what are my goals? What are my goals that are gonna help lead me to manifesting and crystallizing that vision into reality? Okay, because when I started my music career, almost 12 years ago, I first started learning music production with nothing more than a little bit of experience learning guitar as a hobby beforehand. And after about 1 year of nonstop watching YouTube videos and learning music production, I decided to drop out of my university where I was feeling incredibly depressed and study audio and study in an audio and recording engineering school in Canada. And from there, after that, I was only 20 years old. I spent a lot of time working random jobs, traveling, mainly working in Canada in the summers, traveling in the winters, and producing music, finding my sound, trying different things until finally, after a long time, I started to make music that I really liked and started to find a community that I really liked and started moving forward in my career, because the thing was that I was making music that what I felt was very different to what I was listening to or what I was hearing at that time in my kind of North American bubble of music. And it wasn't until I came here to Mexico, where I live now in Tulum, where I've been based mainly for the last 4-5 years. I came here for the first time 8 years ago, and that's when I first started to find what I do now, which is kind of organic down-tempo, organic house, electronic music blended with instruments, with flutes, with guitar, with vocals, with Latin inspiration, with African inspiration. I traveled a lot all through my 20s. I lived a nomadic lifestyle. And for me, it was supported by work in Canada in the summers, doing reforestation, working in music festivals, working in bars, and then volunteering in hostels and stuff like that while I was traveling, and just doing little bits of DJ, lots of stuff for free, producing music on my laptops and headphones, gaining inspiration, until I started getting a few, finally, record label releases. I found the community that I was looking for in Mexico, in Guatemala, in Bali, in India. I found, the place where I felt like, okay, this is what I want to be a part of, So getting out, if you don't feel like what you want to be a part of is right necessarily around you, and you're also not finding it online, traveling out to new places and going to the shows of artists who you like is a pretty good way to possibly find the community that you're looking for. So I was doing that kind of in more of like an amateur mode until one year I met some friends in Bali and we made a music production retreat together. And one of my friends who I met there and we made the retreat together just told me afterwards, I was going back to Canada to work in the summer, and he told me, listen, bro, I know you're going back to Canada and you need to work, or you think you need to work, but you actually don't need to do that. You can totally just live off art and music if that's what you really want to do. And that really hit me hard, because I just didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I could do that yet. I didn't believe it was possible for me. So I went back to Canada, I worked a little bit, I left, and that was the last time I did that. It was the last time I had a job, maybe 7 years ago or something like that. Since then, I've only been living off of music. And the summer that COVID hit, I know that was a big, or the winter, whenever that COVID hit was a big transformational moment for a lot of people. I was in Nicaragua at the time teaching music production in a retreat, and I had planned to go back to Canada. I was thinking about it, and in the moment that COVID I decided, no, I'm going to stay here and I'm going to figure it out. And that kind of moment of all or nothing, all in, like no plan B, like I'm just gonna figure it out, really pushed me to getting out of my comfort zone and being an entrepreneur, which means being resourceful and thinking about like, okay, what can I do? Who can I teach? Who can I produce for? What can I release? And just doing is the main thing between making it and not making it. I think that's the biggest thing. Somebody asked me like what do I have to do to be that? And I just said, you just gotta do. You gotta do it. You gotta make content. You gotta play shows. You gotta release music. You gotta do something, at least one of those things, ideally all of those things. If you can do all of those things and not get overwhelmed and stay focused and stay organized, great, you're gonna grow faster. If you can do at least one, great. Just making music and not releasing it is not going to be enough. You got to make music and release it out in the world. And then the big thing is just finding a way to get people interested in what you're doing, because there's a lot of people right now that I think are kind of in more of a fear and kind of lack mindset around music and arts, you know, with AI and just so many songs coming out and so many artists and stuff like that. And to be honest, I don't feel worried about that at all, because there's maybe so many artists and there's so much music coming out, but there's also so many people. There's so many people. There's like 250 million Facebook and Instagram users just in the United States, and there's a billion in the entire world. And I believe that there is somebody out there for you, for sure. There's somebody who wants to listen to the music that's going to come through you. And all you need to do is trust that and find a way to get your music to those people, whether they're around where you live or in other places in the world. The most important thing is that you start creating, you start putting it out there with no expectations, just loving the process, enjoying the process of learning, of getting better, of growing step by step. You never know which is going to be the next thing to take off, to bring you to the next level. And, you know, the main thing I think that's also blocking people from really having a successful career is just like releasing one song or releasing one EP or releasing one album and having a lot of expectation of it doing amazing and not really getting there and then giving up. And, you know, the thing is that you just gotta keep going. You know, this has been not the strategy just in 2025, but also since the Beatles released like 8 albums in 6 years, the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, and then even like hip hop artists, I don't know, Kendrick Lamar, Wiz Khalifa, they were releasing mixtapes with 20 songs like every month, every 2 months. Like, you gotta do it. You gotta keep creating, keep releasing, loving the process, feeling it in your body because the universe is speaking through you, putting it out into the world, doing as the most quality possibly you can of creation, and giving it with love to the world, but not expecting anything in turn, just giving it because that's what your heart and spirit knows that what you need to give to the world. And eventually, whether it's now or in 1 month or in 6 months or 1 year or in 6 years sometimes is the case. You know, I have some friends, they are seeing insane success in the last 3 years in their project launch. They're both already in their 40s. They've had a whole music career already, doing many different bands and many different things, and really the click moment of it taking off is happening for them now, okay? I'm 31. I've been I started producing 12 years ago. I've only really been building my career for like the last 5 years. And I've only even really started studying these things of like marketing and strategies and stuff in the last, 2 years because I had a son. Now my son's 2.5. And when I became a dad, that really kind of shifted things of, being responsible of taking care of a family. So that pushed me, has given me some more drive to really dig deep into my career and get the most out of it possible to make the best life for my family. And that's why I'm here making this video for you today. And other than that, it actually just started off a few years ago of having a conversation with a dear friend of mine who was asking me like, he's already a producer, he's already releasing tracks, and he was just like, how do I, I'm here and I feel like you're here and I don't really know what's between that. And one night we sat together and I just told him everything and he was writing it down and I was like, wow, nobody's ever written down everything I have to say before. This is kind of cool. And then I decided maybe this should be a book. And I turned it into a little PDF book and it was called The Living Your Dreams Guide, something like that. And then I shared it with a friend, and my friend said, hey, you should turn this into an online course. So I turned it into an online course. And now the online course is called the Artist Growth Guide. And I launched it a little over a year ago. Already over 100 people are in the course. And I feel so happy to be helping many people, because there's many people who've gotten in that are part of my community, taking my course, that are getting the best gigs of their life, getting their first record label releases, growing their brands as artists, growing their social media following, growing their Spotify following, their monthly listeners, their streams, and feeling very excited about their careers and how they're moving forward. So if you enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed what I had to say in here, this is just like a little preview of my course. My course gives a lot more specific, detailed, step-by-step how I do things, like more physical, three-dimensional information of how I do independent releases, how I book gigs, how I get releases with record labels, because I released on over 10 in the last 5-6 years, and also a lot of more metaphysical, spiritual, mindset style guidance on how to become the best version of yourself, and really how to create your best life and your best music career possible. So thank you so much for sticking around, watching this video to the end. I really appreciate you. And if you're more interested in learning more about my course or working with me one-on-one like a mentor, click the links below in the description, like this video, subscribe to my channel, listen to my YouTube mixes. Much love, blessings to you. Thank you so much.